What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Brushmo, just in case you did not know. So we're back again, once again, this time for a mock. The mock, if you don't know what that is, it's basically I take someone else's mock draft and I give you my opinions on it. I think it's very important to look at other people's perspectives, point of views. It just kind of opens up your mind to the different possibilities that can and can't happen in the draft. And oh boy, this one was suggested to me during last night's stream. We're going to take a look, because I was going to do Mel Kiper's, but we'll save Mel Kiper's till tomorrow. We're going to do Charlie Casserly's mock draft. It's on NFL.com, so you go check it out for yourself, because a lot of people said this was a very bad one, and I'll tell you if it is or if it isn't. But before that, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Go ahead and indulge in that nice football discourse and let me know what you think about this mock draft. Because some people are saying, it's what I hear, it's not me saying it, this is one of the worst mock drafts in recent memory. And if you like this type of stuff, tonight we're doing a stream mock the mock on some of the members of the channel. We're going to take a look at their mocks and see how they did. And honestly, that's the best way to support the channel, is becoming a member, whether it's a bro tier or a bro scout tier, which the bro scout tier gets you access to the Discord. It gets you access to all my ranking videos, my full rankings for the draft, as well as my big board, all 300 prospects that I currently have, as well as yeah, I can do mock the mock on some of your guys' stuff. So check that out. But any and all supports, much appreciated, much obliged. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the nitty gritty of this. We're taking a look at our boy, Charles. Charles, can I call you Charles? I'm going to call you Charles. Charles, this is mock draft. And it starts out strong, dude. Starts out strong. Trevor Lawrence going to the Jags. I don't think anyone disputes that. There's rumors out there that Zach Wilson is some team's number one. I can guarantee you he ain't the Jags' number one. It's Trevor Lawrence. But Zach Wilson going to the Jets. I'm in the whole, hey, draft a quarterback, get a guy on a rookie deal, opposed to bringing back Sam Darnold. Instead, try to trade Sam Darnold. So we're good. 2 for 2, man. 2 for 2. You're doing good, Charles. And then the Miami Dolphins going with Jamar Chase. Honestly, my top option for the Dolphins is try to trade out of this pick, just rake in that draft capital. But I get it. A lot of mock drafts, they don't like to do trades in their mock, so that's fine. If I had to pick here, it's between Sewell, it's between Chase. I'm totally okay with either. Get to a protection, get to a playmakers. I don't think you could go wrong with either pick. And then we go to the next pick. It's actually a trade, so he did do trades in the mock draft. He just didn't have the Dolphins trade. I get it. It's tough to trade out of the top 3 picks. I mean, it's happened before, but I get it. I understand. So he has the Panthers trading up and taking Trey Lance opposed to Justin Fields, which is very interesting. Very interesting, Charles. Because, I mean, I have Fields over Lance, but I get that Lance has huge upside. You can see a lot of Josh Allen, especially the way Josh Allen just exploded this year. I could see a lot of people seeing Lance and being like, man, he's got a cannon for an arm. He's got great athletic ability and upside. So I could see a lot of teams being like, yeah, we will take that, and hopefully we can nurture that into something Josh Allen's done this year. So I'm okay with that. I can see how teams could see that. Let's continue. Penei Sewell going to the Bengals here. Get Joe Burrow protection. 5 for 5, man. I'm on board. Personally, me, I would, if I'm the Eagles, I'm trying to look for my next quarterback. I get not everybody's in that boat. So if you're not going to do that, then go ahead and take the best player on your board and add playmakers. I'm totally cool with that. I understand. And then the Detroit Lions go with Micah Parsons, which, hey, they don't have to be in play for a quarterback this year. They don't have to. They understand that this might be a long rebuild, a 3-4 year rebuild. So they can be in the quarterback market in the 2020 draft. They have enough draft capital to trade up. So I know with Fields on the board, they don't have to do that. So if they want to go with the top player on their board, which Micah Parsons, hey, man, That defense is devoid of a lot of talent. That team is devoid of a lot of talent. So they just add the top guy on your board. Micah Parsons could do a lot of different things from the linebacker position. Could even be a pass rusher. So Okay, man, I'm on board with your first 7 picks. And then we got Atlanta's next pick here. And boy, take a seat. Matter of fact, grab a drink. I'm drinking Red Bull. It's been a long night. I've had a lot of audio issues. I had to figure all that out. So kick back, because I'm going to be ranting. Najee Harris going to the Atlanta Falcons. And first off, I understand why you did this, Charles. I get it. I understand, Charles. Arthur Smith, man, he's coming from Tennessee, where Derrick Henry was basically the focal point of that offense. And you get a player, hey, he out of Alabama, right out of Derrick Henry's former college. Got to avoid words I have trouble pronouncing, but there's a big difference between Najee Harris and Derrick Henry. They're not the same player. Najee Harris is about 230. Derrick Henry's like 255. He looks like a linebacker. They're not exactly the same. Second off, you're drafting a freaking running back in the top 10. This ain't the 90s. This ain't 10 years ago. We don't do this anymore. I know some of y'all that you still believe in the value of running back, and I think there is value at running back. I just think it's the least valuable position on offense right now. Because let me kick back, take a seat, hear me out. Analytically, what indicates a running back's production in the NFL? These are the top 3 right here. It's not ability, it's not talent, it's offensive line, which sure some y'all will be on board with, down and distance, and scheme. Not talent. You can see a lot of regret with some teams when they invested a lot in running backs. Take a look at Le'Veon Bell. Take a look at Todd Gurley. So much so, last year, these top running backs had a tough time finding a home, like Melvin Gordon and Todd Gurley. The teams just didn't invest in that. And then you might be like, well, look at what happened with Derrick Henry last year. Team decided to invest in that. Keep in mind, that team was 9-7 3 years straight with Derrick Henry. They didn't become a 10-plus win team until the switch from Marcus Mariota to Ryan Tannehill, quarterback position. Look at the teams that have been in the Super Bowl last 2 years. What do they have going on at running back? What do they have going on? Last year with the Niners and the Chiefs, they had journeymen Damian Williams and Raheem Mostert, and they were just fine. This year, the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. Yes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a first-round pick, but he really only made a difference in the first half of the season. And then they relied on their free agent pickup of Le'Veon Bell and Darrell Williams, who they haven't invested a lot in. Look into the Bucks. Leonard Fournette, he was a former first-rounder. Again, a free agent pickup. You could say Ronald Jones, but he was a second rounder. I mean, that's pretty high investment. That's probably where you should be taking Najee Harris, Atlanta Falcons. Charles. It's just, look at teams with these elite running backs. Zeke, I mean, I'm sure they're regretting that big of a contract because now they can't really retain their own talent. They're having a tough time trying to keep Dak. Saquon, you got Christian McCaffrey. It's just, it's not worth it, especially in the top 10, Charles. That was a terrible pick. Horrible. Let's continue, man. You're 7 of 8 thus far. Denver Broncos, instead of going with Justin Fields, he decided to go with Caleb Farley, which, hey, maybe Drew Lock is the answer. Maybe not. He decided to give him another year. But Caleb Farley, he's got these top 10 elite cornerback traits. I understand why they draft him here. I mean, AJ Boye, he's cut, he's gone. They had 2 rookies there playing on the outside. Bryce Callahan, he's more of a slot. He's at his best in the slot, though he did play good on the outside. So this pick makes sense. Then Patrick Surtain going to the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, this is kind of a popular pick among a lot of mocks. So, okay, I don't fault you. I've done this pick myself. Patrick Surtain, there are some concerns with his speed, but hey, he's probably the second corner off the board. Then the Giants, they get some weapons for Danny Dimes, as they should, and Jalen Waddle, fine weapon indeed. So, yep, Danny Dimes, give him some love. Justin Fields would be tempted here, though. And then the 49ers decide not to go with Justin Fields. They're going to give Jimmy G another shot, which is a bit questionable, you know, because you got to think Justin Fields, he could come into this offense, and you got to think the production would be at least similar to what Jimmy G has done, you know? And I mean, Jimmy G is a likely cut candidate because of how much money he is taken up, you know, in the cap space, especially with essentially all their corners in free agency. Though I won't dispute Kwity Paye is a good fit here. Get someone across the other side from Nick Bosa. And I mean, if they could restructure D Ford's contract and then release him, that would be kind of ideal. So okay, maybe you're not high enough on Fields, or maybe Paye is just higher on your board. Okay, it is what it is. I'll let it slide. The Chargers, this pick makes sense. Slater, he's projected to be able to play really any position on the offensive line. Good thing for the Chargers, they need everything outside of right tackle. And the Minnesota Vikings, some teams are going to be willing to take a shot on Jalen Phillips. He is a top 10, top 15 type of talent. Just the concussions are a real big concern, and it's pretty hard to project where he may go. The Vikings, they could, with Odenigbo being a restricted free agent. Wonham, is he more of a rotation player? I don't know. It's pretty early in his development right now. And Danielle Hunter's return, so I don't dispute them bringing in Phillips. On to 15. The New England Patriots. Who's your quarterback? They're going Kyle Pitts? You know, I mean, if Mac Jones here, okay, maybe we skip. But Justin Fields? Like, biggest hole in their roster currently is quarterback. Yeah, they need to add playmakers, but they did draft 2 tight ends in the 3rd round last year. I mean, I don't dispute the Kyle Pitts. He is one of the best tight end prospects we've seen in quite some time. And I mean, if he wanted to just be a receiver, he'd probably be like the 3rd or 4th receiver in this draft. But yeah, Justin Fields, this is just very eerie, very eerie. Wonder where Fields falls after this, because you got to imagine next few teams be interested. Arizona Cardinals, this is one's a bit interesting too, because I think they might bring back Beachum. Even if they don't, they drafted Josh Jones in the 3rd round, and Humphreys is fine. But I mean, if Darius, I got a top 15 grade on him. You know, if he's the top guy on your board, I understand. J.C. Horn's been a popular mock here just because he's a good scheme fit. But if you want to go with Darius because he's higher on your board than Horn, I'm not going to fault you. And then this one's exceptionally interesting for the Raiders, because the Raiders, they need help at pass rush, especially with Gus Bradley, who just likes to bring in 4. He doesn't like to blitz. So you want to be sure you're getting pass rush with your top 4. So you might think go there. I mean, I know you got Derek Carr. There's some Derek Carr believers out there. I wouldn't say he's a top 10 quarterback. He can be on any given day. I think he's closer to a top 15 quarterback, but Justin Fields is kind of tempting. But Elijah Vera Tucker is kind of a question mark, you know? Like, their interior is, it's old. It's older. So they could probably get some youth there. But even here, Charles, he says, man, why can't he play left tackle? Well, if you look at the one game Elijah Vera Tucker had against probably an NFL prospect this past season, was Kayvon Thibodeau, who just owned him. So I think he's probably projecting better to Garner. Plus, don't you have Colton Miller there at left tackle? So Trent Brown, yeah, I get maybe he gets traded because injuries have been kind of a big thing throughout his career. So maybe, but I don't know. I feel like there's better value to be had at positions of more pressing need, you know? 18, the Miami Dolphins, Gregory Rousseau. Speak of the devil, we're talking about edge rusher. Now it comes off the board instead of with the Raiders. It comes with the Dolphins. Guy with a big upside. Some team's going to try to swing for the fences with Rousseau. So, yeah, I could see it here. The Washington football team opts to pass on Justin Fields for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who I am exceptionally high on. I'm a big fan of JOK. And you know what? On that defense, he could do a variety of different things, you know, like he could play linebacker, he could play box safety, he could play in the slot. You do a variety of creative things with that defense. So, okay. But I don't know how high you're on Taylor Heineke. I mean, you got Alex Smith coming back to pass on Justin Fields. I think it's a bit of a stretch, Charles. But I mean, hey, the Bears have the pick after this. There's no way that the Bears pass on Justin Fields. Mitch Trubisky isn't even signed for this season. They didn't take the 5th-year tender on him. I don't see an extension coming, so they got Nick Foles right now. It's one of the worst quarterback situations in the league. I mean, Justin Fields falling to the Bears at this pick. It's just it's a wish. I mean, if I'm Bears, I would even consider Mac Jones here. But Justin Fields, he could probably go in the top 5. Man, Bears, you lucked out. You lucked out and drafted Cadarius Toney. Charles, what the heck is wrong with you, Charles? Like, I don't understand this whatsoever. Like, in all seriousness now, I don't get this. Fields has fallen this far. There has to be a pretty darn good explanation once Fields is picked in this draft for why he fell this far. Like, even in this, he was like, if the Bears keep Allen Robinson and add Toney, a better prospect than Minnesota's. Dang, dude. Okay, I didn't even read that until just now. He said Kadarius Toney is a better prospect than Justin Jefferson. You're just wrong, Charles, dude. You're just wrong. Listen, I didn't have Jefferson that. I still had a first round grade on him, but I didn't have him that high because I was worried about how he would, if he could play on the outside. Because, yeah, he played a little bit of press in 2018, but in 2019, he was basically playing from the slot, so he didn't see a lot of press. But you know what? I should have looked at that size. I should have said, okay, he did decently enough in 2018 against it. I can admit where I was wrong in my evaluation, but to say Toney is a better prospect, shame on you. I didn't even read that part. That's wild. Still, this pick should be Justin Fields. You have Darnell Mooney there. If they somehow, by miracle, keep Allen Robinson, I don't think they have to go receiver this early, especially with their quarterback woes, Justin Fields. But I don't think Toney and Mooney are I don't think you could have both those guys on the outside. Like, and Toney is probably better in the slot anyway. You could use him a variety of different ways, but I think he wins best in the slot and underneath. He's great at creating after the catch. Okay, regardless, screw that. Where's Justin Fields? We'll find out. We'll find out. Tevin Jenkins going to the Colts. They could go receiver here. Might be a more pressing need. They could go edge. Might be a more pressing need. Just because I've heard rumors somewhere there in the ether of, the rumor mill that who knows, it could be true. Hard to make any sense of it. But Quentin Nelson may be the left tackle next year. So again, I don't know how much truth there is to that. It's just something out there in the ether of the rumor mill. But Jenkins, he's a good scheme fit here, so I don't mind it. Jalen Mayfield, okay, for the Titans, I understand I'm not high on Jalen Mayfield, as probably the NFL is exceptionally high. A lot of analysts are high. I have concerns with Mayfield. I've been talking about it all year. If you're not new to the channel, you understand how I feel about Jalen Mayfield. But I won't deny, dude, physically and his physical profile, it's ideal. I'm concerned about some of his consistency issues, and for here it looks like he's projecting him as the right tackle because Isaiah Wilson, you already know all his. He was, what he knew was a reach in the 2020 draft anyway, but yeah, you got to think Dennis Kelly you're kind of content with. Like, he's an above average starter, a phenomenal backup. You got to be content with that. Nate Davis, I think, is fine enough at right guard. Like, he's developing, I think, pretty well. Like, because Mayfield, if he comes in, I don't think you're starting him at tackle immediately. You're probably putting him at guard, which you probably put him there where Nate Davis is at. I think pass rusher is a way bigger concern, and I think there's better value there in terms of my board. I have many pass rushers ahead of Jalen Mayfield, so I get it. Maybe some people are high on it. Joe Tryon, another guy I'm not as high on as the NFL is. Like physically, this guy looks like a monster. Apparently, he got even stronger during the year, this year when he opted out. It was just in terms of development, he just doesn't seem there yet in 2019, and I would really wish I saw that in 2019 or 2020. Excuse me. Levi Wuzariki says this guy's got a ridiculously strong play strength. Was never an issue when I turned on his film. It's just the overall understanding of the position. He didn't have a lot of pass rush moves. He played the run game horribly. He would lose where the ball was in the backfield, and even when he got it right, he would take terrible angles to try to get to the ball carrier. So there's some concerns there for me. I feel better with him on day 2 than I do in the first round, but I get it. Some of the NFL's high on it, so. And he's a good fit. He's a good fit for Salah. Finally, Justin Fields goes here at 24. You know, if I'm the Steelers, I would be like, okay, maybe if we're lucky, Mac Jones gets to this pick if we're not trying to trade up. But Justin Fields, let's read. He's gotta have some sort of reasoning, right? He says, in a stunning turn of events, darn right, Fields slides all the way to 24. Obviously, it won't be a surprise if he goes much earlier than this. No duh. And Pittsburgh pounces at the chance to land a talented successor for Big Ben. So he gives no reason. He literally gives no reason. Why did the Bears pass on him? Why did Washington pass on him? Why did New England pass on him? Why did San Fran pass on him? You can even make a case, why did Las Vegas pass on him? You could make a case, why did the Giants pass on him? Like, I don't get it. You're doing trades in this mock draft. Why is no one trading up for Fields? This is unrealistic. And I get it. If you're in a mock that's not doing trades, it's kind of hard to make it realistic, but you're doing trades. This is unrealistic. There ain't no way. Like, I'm a big advocate of, hey, good players fall in the draft. That's just what happens. But the quarterback position is constantly overdrafted. And you have Fields, who's probably a top 5, top 10 talent, falling 24. I know some people in the comment section be like, nah, dude, he ain't even first round talent. Fine. This doesn't make sense, though. Shame on you, Charles. Shame on you. Jacksonville Jaguars go with Christian Barmore. I got him as I think my 14th overall prospect. He's the best interior player in this draft. I'm cool with that. JC Horn, I could see him going here. You know, good physical corner here to Cleveland. I mean, Greedy did miss a lot of last year, and Terrence Mitchell, he's fine, but there's nothing wrong with trying to bring competition to the position and talent to the position. So, and this is good value. He's like my 21st prospect, or 21st player on my board. So at 26, it's good value. Trevon Merrick. Listen, the Ravens really value the safety position. They like having potentially 3 safeties or at least 7 DBs on the field. They love those sub packages. So this could make sense. I mean, I think pass rush might be a bigger need, maybe right tackle. But hey, if Merrick's top guy on their board, that's fine. You would think maybe Mac Jones would be considered here for New Orleans, but Jason Owe, hey, dude's a phenomenal pass rusher as far as prospect. Guy's got a lot of upside, a lot of tools. Some people would be like, well, he had 0 sacks last year. Dude had a ton of pressures. Calm down. He helped guys like Shaka Toney turn, he inflated those guys' sack numbers, so calm down. Green Bay Packers, Xavier Collins. I think, yes, linebacker, definitely they should address it. But I think Bolton's a better scheme fit, because often the Packers, they love sub packages in their own right. Typically, they only have one linebacker on the field, and if they're going to do that, it's probably a guy like Nick Bolton's better, because Xavier Collins, Xavier Collins is my 3rd overall linebacker, but it's gonna take a specific role, a specific scheme for Collins. I just don't think the Packers have that. If they're looking for a linebacker, maybe if they're going to use him as more of a pass rush, because the guy at 260, very good skill set. But with the Packers, I think you're looking more at him as a pass rusher than you would as a traditional linebacker. That's why I would say Nick Bolton. And then Joseph Osai going here 30 to Buffalo, which is fine. You know, I have a few other pass rushers ahead of him just because I think athletically they're better. They have better upside. But, you know, in his first year of, hey, you're exclusively a pass rusher, we're not going to do that hybrid nonsense with you at Texas. He looked phenomenal. He looked really good. But I think he's more of a day 2 pick, maybe a second round pick. But I understand some people will be a little higher on him. And actually, I think this pick here at KC, Greg Newsome, is a better pick for Buffalo than Osai. I mean, I don't know if they're going to bring back Levi Wallace or Josh Norman. So grabbing a guy like Newsome, who's a really good off coverage corner, who's played a lot of zone there at Northwestern, might be a better scheme fit for Buffalo than it is for Kansas City, who runs a lot of press man. And he says here, well, they have a number of their cornerbacks are hitting the market. Well, I think they're going to bring back Ward probably at a very reasonable price, and then Breland they can let go. He was fine during the season, but man, he really cracked during the playoffs, especially the Super Bowl. So I think they could probably, like, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm probably going maybe edge. I'm probably going offensive tackle, which I think there's more value on the board currently at that position than there is with Newsome at this pick. But again, the cornerback class is real weird. After like the 3 for sure first rounders, it gets real blurry, and a lot of people are going to be projecting a lot of different guys there. Like a lot of people's boards are going to be a lot different compared, like, when it comes to the cornerbacks. It's going to be very interesting. But for my last and final rant, this guy, Charles, you got Patrick Jones going in the first round. I don't think a lot of people are doing that anymore. I'll still see Patrick Jones on day 2, which, okay. I got a 5th round grade on him. I'm not that impressed. But in the first round, Charles, shame on you, man. Patrick Jones, I get it. He's got an ideal frame. He's got the ideal size. But his length, when he went in and measured in at the Senior Bowl, was kind of below average for a guy his size. And he's this late to the party but gets all the attention type of pass rusher. That's how I like to describe him. He doesn't create a lot of pressure by himself. He had one of the lowest pressure rates at the Senior Bowl. Yes, his pressure rate was better in 2020, but he doesn't have a history of that. He's a high sack guy that typically doesn't get a lot of pressure on his own. He kind of lets other people get pressure and then reap the rewards. That's just the player he's kind of been, and he kind of showed that at the Senior Bowl. So I get it. Like, he's got an ideal frame for a 4.3 end, but again, without the explosive first step, without the upside, he's kind of just a day 3 guy to me. But you got him here in the first round. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. You had Najee Harris in the top 10. I like Najee Harris. How dare you make me speak ill of Najee Harris because you put him at pick 8. The hell, Charles. But that's it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm going to switch over here. Yeah, let me know what you think of Charles's draft here. And go ahead, do the YouTube thing. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.